Welcome. So we have 4 tractors, all within 10 horsepower of each other. The Valtra T234 at 250 bhp, the CLAAS Axon 840 at 250 bhp, the Fendt Turbo Shift 824 rated at 240 bhp. This is an old-fashioned tractor by today's standards anyway, and the Massey 7722 rated at 240 horsepower. They all have a cultivator which is rated at 300 horsepower to make them work. Let's hope they can pull it. They all have an identical size field, and yeah, let's go. So first thing I would do is start the engines. Massey, Fendt, CLAAS and the Valtra. The next thing I'm going to do is, oh, the engine went off. Okay. It's harder workers, so we will just scroll through the D-pad as fast as we can, hurrying the workers. And they're off. Now these are rated at 300 horsepower, these cultivators. All these tractors are under the recommended horsepower. It will be interesting to see, and also the older tractor, being the Fendt, its turning circle isn't as good as the more modern ones, which is pretty standard, I think. See what happens. All these fields are dead level. Let's check out how the Fendt makes the turn. Identical horsepower to the Massey. They've all got wide tyres and wheel weights as well. So the Fendt might be pulling away, but it's hard to tell at the moment. Let's check on the CLAAS. Sounds sweet. And the Valtra. I'd say the CLAAS is quicker. Pretty sure I set the Valtra off first. They are identical horsepower. Flat field, level field. I'm pretty sure I set the Valtra off first. Let's see if maybe the CLAAS makes the turns faster. These cultivators are rated at, let's double check the speed that they're rated at, 9 mph. Valtra's pulling it at 8, the same horsepower vehicle being the CLAAS, pulling it at 8. Definitely, I'd say the CLAAS is definitely slightly quicker. I did set the Fendt off before the Massey. Don't believe I set it off that much before though. I would say the Fendt is tackling the field faster. Let's check on the other two. Very nice engine noise to the CLAAS. The Fendt is definitely the quickest on the map, I'd say. It's caught up with the CLAAS, it looks like. It was making its turn the same time. See it in the distance over there. I'll go landscape mode, maybe. I mean, the Fendt was set off second to last. It is comparable to the CLAAS, which was set off before it. The Valtra was set off before the CLAAS, it's now behind the CLAAS. I think the Fendt's the quickest. It's 10 horsepower down on the other two, on the Valtra and the CLAAS. That is quite interesting. I figured it's a slight lack of steering lock might impede it slightly at the ends, but obviously with a 6 metre wide implement it can handle that. Yeah, the Fendt's definitely pulling ahead of the CLAAS, which is interesting. We'll give them a little face-off up the hill after they've done these fields, see who can go the higher gradient. Now the Valtra was set off before the CLAAS, it's now behind, quite markedly so, maybe 5 or 6 tractor lengths. The Fendt is just rocking. I hope it doesn't get too far ahead, otherwise I'm going to get a collision, potential collision. If that happens, I'll slow down the one that's out of the race, the slower one, and take it out. You got a light handed. Hey Ronnie. How are you today? Just doing a little, very short stream, just a little experiment here. 240 to 250 horsepower rated vehicles. I really wanted to put a New Holland in there, but there just isn't one in that range. So Massey is standing up for the old school. The Massey is definitely being outpaced by the old Fendt. They're identically horsepowered vehicles, which is quite interesting. I think the Fendt's slightly cheaper as well, actually. So the Fendt is just getting to the end now. It's set off behind this vehicle. It's caught it up. It's actually even overtaking the CLAAS, which is 10 horsepower more. The Valtra is definitely slower than the Fendt and the CLAAS. Whether it's slower than the Massey, I can't tell yet. I think the Massey and Valtra are the same. I've got about 3-4 more passes to make, then I'll send them up the hill and see who gets the furthest. And that will be it. No, this is just the beginning. No, I've got things to do. I just thought I'd just do a short stream of this. I was interested myself. I'll be on later probably. So interestingly, the old Fendt 824 has made its turn already, and it's off, and the CLAAS Axion 840 is fractionally behind now. Didn't expect that. I expected the CLAAS and the Valtra with 10 horsepower more to pull away. The Valtra's definitely slower. The Massey's slower, so those two are out. The two kings, so to speak, are this old Fendt here and the CLAAS. Must remember not to save this. Okay, we're getting 8 miles an hour out of the CLAAS, 8 out of the Valtra. Does sound sweet. The CLAAS really sounds nice, the engine, especially when it's under load. Get a bit closer. Very nicely put together. You can see where the slots went. Fendt sounds sweet as well. Sounds less strained, even though it's got less horsepower. Yeah, that's why I didn't put one in. In fact, there isn't one that's rated at these power ratios anyway. That particular class does, yeah. Definitely slower. Fendt's miles ahead, look. Didn't quite get the fields the same size looking at that. Or maybe I did. So it's between the CLAAS and the old Fendt. Just have a quick look at the hill, see where I'm going to set them off. I think I'll probably set them off up here. I'm not sure this hill's totally fair. There's a bit of a hump there. This side's better because it curves away at the top. Maybe we'll do this side. I'm only going to do the CLAAS and the Fendt on the hill, and that'll be it. Yeah, it's pulled away from the Valtra quite substantially. But this is the man, the Fendt 824 turbo shift with 10 horsepower less than the CLAAS is even faster than the CLAAS. Pulling an implement that is rated at 60 horsepower more than it's got. So the Fendt wins. Having started after the CLAAS, it's finished before it. Then the Massey and the Valtra are about the same. Yeah, so does the Fendt 1050, Ronnie. I think I'm just going to set them off here. Put that one there. Now the extra 10 horsepower of the CLAAS should help this one. As it's not so much about speed, it's really about who gets furthest up the hill, I think. I can't see them getting to the top. It'll be too steep for this setup. Right, we'll set these off and see what happens. CLAAS go, Fendt go. Looks like the CLAAS is pulling away fractionally. No, they're about even. Now the gradient's going to kick in. They'll probably both get maybe a third of the way up, halfway up. Like CLAAS might have the edge. It does have 10 horsepower more. There's nothing in it really. I'd say that's pretty much the difference in the distance that I set them off. Yeah, CLAAS marginally quicker in that situation. The CLAAS has got 10 horsepower more and it's 30 years younger. The Fendt is an old-fashioned tractor from the 90s. But the CLAAS has definitely come out ahead there. By about 5 seconds, 4 or 5 seconds. I'll do one more here and I will end the stream when they get to the top. Yeah, I'm pretty similar to you, Ronnie. Does sound sweet, this CLAAS. That John Deere engine sounds lovely. Right, this time I'm going to set the Fendt off first. I'm going to lower the cultivators first. Right, higher worker, higher worker. And the stream will end when they've both got to the top. I'll probably be on later. I will try and work out how to put this video in a separate section on my page, but I'm not quite sure how to do that yet. Yeah, the CLAAS is pulling ahead already, look. It's the man for this sort of thing. I think on the level though, I do think the Fendt was quicker at playing the whole field. Maybe it's quicker in the turns or something. Oh, oh. The Fendt came back a bit then. The Fendt is coming back. Interesting. Now the CLAAS is pulling away. Markedly so now. Okay, so on the really steep stuff, it looks like CLAAS has a traction issue, which actually we knew about from the big CLAAS when I did the test before. It's not a horsepower issue. Yeah, Ronnie, look at my channel, and you will see head-to-head Fendt 1050 versus CLAAS Axion versus CLAAS Xeron. I've done it already. Interestingly, on the very steep stuff, the Fendt digs in, the CLAAS wheel spins. Look at that. Absolutely amazing. How close could that be? Check that out. Absolutely amazing. It's not conclusive because the field slope might be slightly different, but the CLAAS just won, I would say, this little test here. But on the flat field earlier on in the stream, the Fendt was marginally quicker actually. Anyway, Ronnie, check out my video entitled Head to Head. On versus the Fendt 1050. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. Just a short stream. I hope you found it useful, in some ways informative, and whatever else Mr. Sealy P says. Cheerio.